Hi, good evening, and welcome to this week's episode and edition of the Minority Report. We are back in studio at Tobago Updates, and as per usual, we have another exciting program for you this evening. Lined up a number of discussions, pertinent discussions, I must say, that all are going to be impacting with respect to information, with respect to clearing the air on a number of issues, with respect to bringing to you, the general public, the facts and hearing it from, as we like to say, the horse's mouth. Tonight, our program will be no different, and we want to just take our time and go through a number of the issues. Again, many of us know what are some of the critical issues, especially trending in the news recently, that have been plaguing us here in Tobago. But before we get there, for those of you who are looking on at this program, you can do so at the Tobago Updates website. You can visit the Tobago Updates YouTube channel, or you can log into the Tobago Updates Facebook page. And that is the platform that many persons choose to utilize, primarily because you have the opportunity to also comment. And in doing so, I encourage you weekly to ensure that your comments are respectful, to ensure that we respect each other's opinion, that even as we engage in our conversations, let's share the information with the intention that we all can come away creating a learning experience. Remember, as always, that this is also a children's program. Many families come together and their children sit and view the program. And so I would like to put us on the side of caution with respect to the type of language and the type of conversations that we use. All that said, I want to say thank you for those of you who continue to log in to the Minority Report every single week, every Tuesday. This has been a great run. It's been an exciting time for us. We have been on air for over 2 years, consistently bringing the information, delivering to you, the public, the facts, having professionals come in, as we would have seen with last week's episode, when again I want to thank Mr. Douglas for coming in and really providing us with a huge volume of information with respect to the shark attack and the issue, the overall issue of sharks. I always like to say that we on the Minority Report lead and others follow. And in the same manner, last week, just 24 hours after we aired such an interesting and information-filled episode, we saw information similar coming out from the division, where they would have packaged the exact information that we would have presented on the Minority Report. They would have packaged it and started disseminating it to the public. And again, it's not about a tap on the shoulder. It speaks to the volume of work that we put in, the research, and the fact that we are always quick on the draw to bring the information to you, the public. So before I continue, I want to introduce my guest in studio with me this evening. As I always say, a soft smile, soft words, a gentle, gentle breeze, but a quiet storm, as many persons would have found out, even in the house. Welcome, Minority Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit.
Good evening, Marlon. Good evening to all of you listening, viewing, tuned in to the Minority Report. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode. It's good to be on the show this evening.
Yes. It's been a while. It's been a little while.
It's been a while.
I start to think that you operate a lot like God. You mightn't come when we want you, but you're always on time.
Yes.
You know, it's always a pleasure to have you, and I know this evening will be no different. As I was indicating to the viewers, their last week's program was
it was really interesting.
Awesome.
Although I was not physically on set, I was tuned in, and the information that was shared, because for me, it was a learning experience, and I'm sure it was for many persons locked on. Because one, I did not know there were so many shark species.
8 out of 10 dangerous sharks.
So it was really interesting. Thanks again, Mr. Douglas, for coming and sharing your wealth of experience and knowledge with all of Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, all that was locked on, and we do hope to see you back again sometime in the future.
Yes, and he did in fact commit. He said that both he and his brother, we'd make another time, because obviously we'd want to be able to expand on the discussion, because one of the things that is critical to people's decision making is the information that is made available to them. You know, so we want to be able to not just on a one-off, but continuously provide information, because this instance may be about sharks.
Yes.
But we know that in the waters surrounding Tobago, we have a lot of stingrays, even manta rays at times. And, you know, there's a lot of public phobia and paranoia about these animals.
What actually resonated with me was when he pointed to the fact that when we go to the ocean, when we go to the sea, we are actually going to their domain,
yes.
you know, and you know, I think oftentimes we forget that. So that was also another, you know, interesting tidbit that, you know, kind of jolted you. But kudos to Mr. Douglas. I can't stop boasting about the information that was shared. I think everybody was glued.
Literally.
Yes.
Adults and children, because I heard a lot of children speak about it, and they were fascinated by the facts that he would have provided. One of the things that also stood out a lot to me was the link that he made with respect to the ecosystem and the food chain.
Yes.
And the fact that humans are not on the food chain of the shark. So it makes it almost impossible for the shark to just attack. You know, but there is always the odd occasion, and he did allude to the fact that what needs to be researched and dug into is what caused.
Of course, yeah. And I think that should be on the minds of particularly those in authority and all of us, because this is our first.
It is our first
time that an incident such as this would have occurred on our beautiful waters. And yet it was truly shocking, like, and it would be interesting to know what would have triggered such an occurrence.
Definitely. So I really want to say, you know, Mr. Arnim Douglas, thank you immensely for making the time. I know that both you and your brother would have committed, and in short order we'll be having another conversation to come back here and again provide the public with information, and that is the critical part. What I love about the interview as well is that the interview was a professional interview.
It was. So kudos to you, Mr. David. You know, I think it was really well done.
It wasn't about the politics. It was this, and we have to have more conversations like this.
No, and it actually showcased the experience and the talent of Mr. Douglas, because clearly you could see that, you know, this is something that he loves. This is something that he's passionate about. This is something that he is into on a daily basis. So that really came out as well in the interview, the passion for what he was speaking about.
So kudos again, kudos. You know, so that is what we often are about. We try not, this is not just about coming and dealing with the administration, but there are areas of public interest that we also try to get in on, and you would have again noticed that very little information would have been put into the public domain with respect to the incident and with respect to the public, to bring a sort of a measure of calm. You know, and we really thank God that Mr. Douglas made himself available. And I think today we are much better off.
Yes.
I have viewed, I churned the information over and over in my head, and I have viewed the seaside differently now.
I think we all have.
I actually saw.
Be more cautious, because before you will go in the water and, you know, you will be carefree, free rein. But now, you know, it encourages you to be more cautious, be more aware of your surrounding, you know, and just being more observant.
Yes. I took the time to observe a few individuals at a very popular beachfront. And I actually stopped to look at them, and every single one of them approached the beach standing on the shoreline. Just to the point where the waves would break, they stood there, and everyone's head was moving from left all the way to right. And in the distance, I knew that they were literally scouting, like, okay, let me see if there's any movement in this
I'm
water.
laughing so hard because I saw this comment on Facebook where this individual, he indicated that he don't think he will want to go back to the beach. He don't even want to go back to the sun because he is afraid that the shark may come there.
Yes.
And it is quite serious. And as I would have indicated, it has really caused us to be more vigilant, to be more observant, particularly as we venture into the waters.
Very much so. So folks, we encourage you to continue being vigilant, continue being cautious. There is absolutely no way to not have to deal with this. As Mr. Douglas indicated, we have coexisted from time immemorial, and we will continue to coexist with our marine life. We just have to ensure that we do what we need to do to ensure that their environment is not severely negatively impacted by our actions. So this evening, Minority Councillor, we have this little segment where we call Community Corner, where we encourage persons to send in information, to send in stuff that you think is affecting your community in a negative way. And this evening we have two individuals who would have stepped up to the plate and would have brought some issues to the forefront. We want to very quickly deal firstly with the issue of Bloody Bay. The residents of Bloody Bay are clamoring. I've received several calls because of this particular issue. I'd asked the director to pull up the photos of the Bloody Bay area. As indicating, I've received several calls until one of the residents on a day that he was severely affected actually decided to do some footage and to send in some photographs.
And this is the roadway?
This is the actual roadway.
On a day where rain fell? Or
yes, and it wasn't much rain, he said. Yes, we can skip through. What they're indicating is that when this occurs, they have to now drive through the empty landmass to the right, which is an area that was designated for some sort of construction, the Blue Food Festival. So that area has already begun to be excavated and dug up, and some minor work has started at it. And so they have to drive through that top area and come down further across.
Is that a pothole or is it like drainage issue?
Well, what they have said is that it's craters. Because if your vehicle goes down in any one, they say that you have to get wrecked.
Wow.
And this has been ongoing, as the resident indicated, for almost 2 years. For almost 2 years. Since the work was done, the minor work was done with the area for Blue Food. Right. They came and they dug up this part and so on. And he said that residents have now come to their wits' end. And they are really calling on their area representative, who happens to be the Honorable Chief Secretary, to please address this issue. They have seen the effect of information coming to the public through the Minority Report, as in the case of the Allfields roadway and so on, when we provided a lot of coverage, some photos and that kind of thing. And it has now been rectified to a large extent, and the residents are hoping that with this plea, that their situation would also be rectified by the Chief Secretary or the Secretary of Infrastructure. So, Mr. Chief Secretary, your constituents, I don't know, they have indicated they've not been able to be in touch with you. But we know that's a regular thing with this administration. They've indicated they have not been able to be in touch with you, and the times that they have gotten on to you, they've not seen their issues addressed in no manner whatsoever. So we're calling on you guys to ease up the residents of Lansome, Bloody Bay, that entire area, especially now that we are heading into the rainy season.
So, Mr. Chief Secretary, please give the residents of Bloody Bay some ease as it relates to this impasse. And Secretary of Infrastructure, it has now come to your attention if you did not know before. So please address as soon as you possibly can.
And I want to say this before we move on to the next one, Minority Councillor. I putting it out in advance. Don't come to the public with pictures of another area to say that, look, this area was left undone for so much and so much time and so what the clamor. That's foolish. You all said to the people that you all could fix things. And even though we've not seen anything like that materialize thus far, at least you all should be trying. So just get the work done.
Yeah. And more than that, the people would have already made the decision.
They made the decision.
What the PNM did not do.
Get the work done, man. So I want us to move on to another interested and informed resident who would have brought something to our attention yet again. I want to first pull up, Mr. Director, the photograph that was posted by the Secretary of Education of the Kendall swimming pool. Nice. So here we see on the 5th of April, that's recent, that is just a month ago.
Last month.
The 5th of April, there's still a bit of work to be completed on our facility, but I just can't wait for its reopening. Can you guess where? And this photograph was put up. When you see this photograph, it gives the impression that, okay, this is like almost a launch. We're seeing a launch next week.
It's ready.
I would like to put up the next image of a post by the same secretary from 2022, I believe it was, nicely. So this is another post where the secretary says, here's another case of what were you doing for 21 years? And again, it was disingenuous because she highlighted the same facility and area in the roof after the facility was down for the entire 2-year period during COVID, where no government facility was opened. All beaches, all swimming pools, everything was shut down. And so this sort of image was regular across the THA. Well, let me rephrase that. This was a regular image across the entire world with facilities that were shut down. I want to come now to the recent video. And I'm saying recent because her post was on the 5th of April. This video is just about a week old. Could we go to the video, Mr. Director? And I want us as the viewing public to look at this video. So when I saw this particular video that was sent in by a concerned resident of the east, the windward side of Tobago, and they felt the need to bring this to our information because they did not appreciate the message that the secretary tried to send, taking a photo of what looked to be a pristine type environment. And the things that we are seeing here, if we revert, and that's why I showed the image that she put up in 2022, which was post-COVID, immediately post-COVID. What has changed?
Well, the question in relation to this video, I'm wondering if this is an active construction set, because it doesn't look as if there has been much activity happening there in the recent past, because you're seeing grass growing, and generally in a construction site, because there'll be movement and different activities,
grass wouldn't be growing.
You wouldn't be seeing grass.
Even the concrete, the steel. Yes, all these are old.
Look like an active construction.
So my question is,
like activities.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So we saw issues with the same roofing. Now I think that the pool area is actually worse than it was, based on information, than it was in 2022. And there are a number of issues that have been cited. The contractor pulled out. The contractor was owed. Then he started back, and a number of issues. Yet still on the 5th of April, and it's in line with this administration's continued attempt to fool the public.
But is work actually happening on the site?
No, this is a working day. Okay. That this image, this recording was taken. This is a working day. So then nothing is happening.
When will the little work that is required to be done?
A little bit of work
completed? And if it is the pool, as you said, is in a more deplorable state than it was in 2022, I guess the pool has to be emptied for work to be done on it.
What in the information that came is that the pool was filled for a photo op. I don't know. That's the information that came. That the pool was filled just to get the photo. And again, to make the public believe that this education secretary and this administration has been doing so much work. But what is the difference in this picture, this video, from the image that the secretary posted in 2022? And that is why we post what they said. That is why we post what they said. It's their words. This is their performance level. And in 2024, here we are. Full performance at 100% output. And this is the condition that the pool still remains in.
Madam Secretary, I hope that you give this some attention, and I hope that soon enough work will commence, because from the videos, and if it's taken a week or two ago, from the videos, it does not suggest that this is an active construction site. So let's get the work done. Let's get the actual work done and complete this renovation to the swimming pool so that the residents of the Tobago East can have access.
And Minority Councillor, what I would also love for the Secretary to indicate, also the Chief Secretary, in terms of the issue at Bloody Bay, who is the contractor that would have gotten the contract that has been carrying on this work for so long? For so long, and it is still in this state of disrepair. Remember, this is the administration that said transparency would be one of their pillars. The Deputy Chief Secretary indicated that there is going to be a website of some sort.
Well, apparently something was launched today, so let's see how that...
Today?
Yeah.
Okay.
They launched a
transparency
platform.
site.
Well, not a transparency site, but today, in collaboration with TSTT, there was like a e-tender platform that was launched.
Okay.
So that will be THA wide. So it was publicized, I think, on the said station. It came live. So TSTT presented on what it should do. The Chief Secretary would have also spoken. And of course, the Chief Secretary would have boasted that now you could go online and see who would have tendered and where. So I'm really looking forward to see how this new system is implemented and rolled out. Yes, I am.
You know what I'm looking forward for? The SMART program. Remember Show Me a Road Tobago?
Yes, yes.
I don't know if the viewers remember Show Me a Road Tobago.
We all saw that, and we all saw that nothing happened with it in some weeks. The information that was going to the app, apparently the app could not accommodate the information. To this time, I think the app is down. So we are hoping that a similar occurrence does not happen with this.
And while we on updates, on Tobago updates, we are also asking for the Chief Secretary and Area Representative to give an update on the Blue Food Village, because that is what has affected. And here we look. Here is. Thank you, Mr. Director, for bringing this out of the archives.
We haven't heard anything about this.
We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, because we know a number of persons. I think the minority leader would have even actually gone on and tried to access.
Yes.
And I know a number of persons who would have tried to access the app. And
so thanks to the archives. I don't know how much dust you had to shake this one up to get to bring this up, but this was a big launch. So we're asking for some updates. We want the Chief Secretary and Area Rep to fix the Bloody Bay issue.
Yeah.
The residents are being severely affected. We also would like for him to give an update on the Blue Food Village that construction began on. And it just stopped, and the place is just there. Money has been spent again. And again, we don't know who is the contractor that started or got the contractor. So let's say we hopeful that all that information may come now with the new site. So we want the relevant secretaries, the Chief Secretary and so on, to please you guys address these issues. The residents of these particular areas are clamoring. They are yearning to have their issues solved. They are saying that calls to cell phones are going unanswered. But again, we know that this has been the custom of this administration. So we're calling it out now. We know that once you call them out on Facebook, on TV,
they'll respond.
They will respond and they'll bring some sort of action to the table. Folks, we are going to be shifting our discussions a bit. We have another guest who we're going to be bringing in to the conversation, but we're going to take a short break. And when we get back, we're going to go right into that next gear. Stay logged on, stay locked on, and we'll be right back.
Good morning. Put a smile on your Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorns Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
She ride the wave, come jump in the range, 100 funny, that's what your money mean. Don't need your love, that I cost me fi pay. Like King Solomon, a bag a girl to me name. Every girl rock out, Lord, rock out. Me say hot girl, understand your time fi step out. Big bumper girl, your time fi get strap out. Hand on your knee, treat a girl and yardy. And every girl I get wild out tonight. Party in my out tonight. If she suck me, I find out tonight. I you know what a wild out tonight. Out the blue light, fi I try out the back. I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens has come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, it's a miracle. A million strong come together.
Tipsy presents Sip and Paint, an expression of a mother's love. Join us at the Tropicist Beach Hotel, Sunday, May 12th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Guests are entitled to finger foods and wine. Full package painter tickets only $600. And if you just want to hang out, we've got you. Limers pay $450. You'll be entertained by a special sensational reggae artist, a live band, and come witness our bonfire. We've got loads of giveaways. We're catering to mom all evening. Sunday, May 12th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tropicist Beach Hotel. Come, sip and paint with Tipsy.
Yes, folks, so we are back in studio, and joining us this evening, again, in the wake of what has been happening, we have been seeing in the news quite a lot of disturbance and so on. And we have, yes, she is logged on and on set with us virtually, Miss Anne Duke Carrington. Welcome to the Minority Report, ma'am.
Good night, sir, and thank you.
So I want you to just introduce yourself to the general public so that persons would have an appreciation for who you are and the entity that you represent. And then from there, we're going to go into a bit of conversation.
Okay, my name is Anne Duke Carrington. I am the PRO of Pairs of Heirs Rabbitry, which is owned by my daughter, Fanta Carrington.
Nice. So we have been seeing quite a lot taking place in the public domain with respect to farmers and TADCO over the last few days. Give us first an account of what has been happening, what would have led to this particular juncture, and how has it been affecting you guys? I think we lost her for a minute. Okay, so we lost her and we are reconnecting at present. So while we await for her to come in, as I was indicating, Miss Carrington is also one of the owners of the Pairs of Heirs business. They do rabbitry, they do poultry and so on. And in recent days, as many of you would have been seeing even on this network and others, there has been some disturbances between the farmers and TADCO at the compound, where we saw it culminating on Friday, I think it was,
Yes.
where there was what seemed to be a protest on the compound. And in the midst of the protests, the words were exchanged and so on. Farmers would have given their views, farmers would have aired or ventilated their feelings and so on. And as we'll hear later on, I take it, one of the farmers indicated that the only information they got or they received was a message that was said it came from the chairman for them to leave the compound.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to hear firsthand, the view of this.
What transpired.
Yeah.
Do we have her back on yet? Okay. So folks, what we're going to do in the meantime, we have a few of those live clips that we want to also get into. I'm going to ask the director, let's begin with the first set of interviews with the chairman of TADCO. Let's hear a bit of what it is he was speaking to after this incident unfolded. That first clip.
I want us to start just talking generally in terms of the facilities that TADCO provides for our farmers on the island, or maybe anyone else.
Right. So TADCO is a company that offers a lot of value-added systems and a lot of products on the island as well. So we offer cold storage space. We are the largest cold storage space on the island.
Okay, folks, we're gonna actually take it back a bit so that we get more context to the conversation. There was a Channel 6 interview or a report that came first. So we're gonna go right to that one now.
Farmers across Tobago are calling for compensation from the Tobago Agribusiness Development Company after hundreds of their meats given to TADCO for storage spoiled due to the failure of the company's temperature storage systems. Farmers calling for answers visited the compound at Shore Park, but instead were put off the establishment.
Currently, the issue with us as farmers is that the facility at TADCO is not working as it should. And we are having some issues concerning storage. And we would have plucked about 300 heads of chicken, and we are unable to store it at the facility because of different issues concerning temperature, as they would have said. Right? I must mention that this facility has 4 holding rooms, along with 1 blast freezer, and all of them are done. Remember, we as farmers, fisher folks, and agro-processors are depending on TADCO, and they have failed us.
Right now we are having an issue with storage at TADCO. About Saturday, the 20th of April, we slaughtered 600 plus chickens, and we stored them at TADCO's facility, as we normally do. When we checked back on Monday to start to sell our stuff to our customers, we realized that they were still just chilled, not frozen. The processing manager did a check with the goods. We were present when they did it, and some of them were still not frozen. We know that after 3 days of being just chilled, the meat will be compromised, right? Our stance is that we ought to be compensated for whatever losses were incurred. Right? So it's on TADCO.
Come into the facility in TADCO thinking that we could store with chickens or store anything, and when we reach here we can't. And for people who have the goods in here, some of the goods spoiled about 7 days ago, and nobody out here telling me nothing. The only thing they tell me is to come off the compound, right? And they say, the chairman says so, the security come and tell me that. I never see that in my life. So what you're really doing, farmers, and Mr. Chief Secretary, I'm calling on you, not nobody else, use the leader to Tobago. You say we're going and fix this, me fixing nothing right now.
In a statement, TADCO said due to maintenance and repairs of its temperature storage systems, third-party storage services have been suspended until further notice. The company then apologized for the inconvenience caused, and it says it looks forward to providing improved and appropriate services upon the resumption of temperature storage services.
So we would have seen this unfolding, and again we saw even Miss Carrington form part of the delegation that was at the compound. Minority Council, I know that this is not just an issue. What we're seeing here is downstream, but this was also would have been treated with even in the House. Questions were asked, information was provided, challenges were put forward to the Secretary of Agriculture. with respect to even this board and this chairman. What are we seeing happening here now in the context of things happening in the house, and now we see in the manifestation?
A continuation. You're actually seeing questions that were posed in the house actually come into fruition. Because if you recall, the first set of questions that were posed to the secretary was concerning chickens that were rotten.
Yeah.
And then the secretary indicated that was not the case. Then a video was revealed showing a truck of chickens being dumped. And you wonder, what would have caused that occurrence? And after the video was publicized, you saw a press release coming from TADCO. Now you are seeing where farmers have indicated that they have taken their goods for cold storage at the said TADCO, and now they have showed up for their goods so that they can sell to their clients or the persons who are seeking to purchase from them, and their goods are spoiled. So you're seeing a similar occurrence happening now. Very interesting. And I see Miss Carrington is back.
Okay. Yes. Miss Carrington.
Sorry about that. The internet seems to be dropping.
Yeah, that's quite all right. We somehow have some struggles whenever we start to present facts to the public. So tell us what transpired and what has brought us to this point.
Okay. We have been doing business, pairs of heirs, with TADCO, and even before TADCO, Tico Swaf, from since 2018. Right? We have been doing chickens and storing them at their facility successfully. Normally, they will blast freeze the stuff when we carry them in.
Yeah.
If the blast freezer is down, they will use the other cold rooms. Right? Normally, the blast freezer, they will blast for a day or so and then put into those rooms. When the blast freezer is down, they will put into those rooms, and within 2 days, they will be frozen.
Okay.
Right? On the 23rd of March, we bought our ice, and then we took our stuff in. We took our 22nd of March, and the 23rd, we took our goods in. Right? By the 25th, when we returned, we were told, when they bring the baskets out, they told us that the blast freezer was...
Oh. I would wonder if if we can address this. Yes, I think we can do that.
We could try to call
We could try to call. Mr. Director, could we try setting up an actual phone call instead? If that is possible, let me know so that we can continue the interview with Ms. Carrington.
But moderator, a thought just occurred. Is it so? One, the chickens that were spoiled about a month or two ago, what was the cause for those chickens being spoiled? And now with these farmers, their goods have also been spoiled.
Yes.
Is it that, and it's a question that is being asked, is it that the blast freezer or whatever freezing mechanism is at TADCO, is it that has been not working adequately for some time?
Information that has been coming has indicated, even to the tune of what has been said to the farmers in terms of the dates given, that in reality, the machinery was non-functional from long before that. The machinery has not been functioning.
So the question
way
still
before.
Remains, what would have caused the chickens to spoil a month or two ago? And now with this recent incident that would have occurred, there's a admission that the blast freezer is not working.
Yeah.
But what Ms. Carrington started to indicate is that since 2018, in the event of the blast freezer not working, they will be placed in the other cold storage units, and within a 2 to 3 day period, they will be frozen.
So
that
the cold
has not
storage
been
unit as well is not working.
non-functioning.
I think
Questions,
what
questions,
came out this
questions.
evening as well in another news report was an actual recording of the temperature gauge to show that it is not up to industry standards. And these things, Minority Councillor, have been unfolding at the very entity that the secretary stands to defend, and that chairman, as we're going to hear shortly, comes on the media and defends and spreads blatant falsehoods. Because a lot of what the chairman has said is now being refuted by the farmers. We are hearing the chairman speaking to farmers who would have came out in protest as being part of the poultry farming project where they had experienced the spoilage. Farmers have indicated categorically that they have never been a part of that program.
Yeah, but Ms. Carrington didn't speak. Ms. Carrington said she has a business and she rears rabbits and she rears chicken. And she has been doing business with Tico Suave when it was Tico Suave and now Tatco since 2018.
So who is really telling the truth? And
well,
we already have
unfolding in the public domain.
Yes.
So
we are seeing
should come
constant issues now coming out of TADCO. We are asking the secretary once again to come clean on what is happening with TADCO. And I can take us as far back as TADCO signing the agreement with Nuvo was taking place with that. Has that fallen through?
We haven't heard anything about
Nuvo.
Yes. The last thing I think we heard was some outstanding payments to Nuvo. I don't think since then we have heard anything. And then with the food box initiative,
yes,
we would have heard the complaints from the farmers.
Same set of farmers.
Talking about they were not given the opportunity to do what they would have done in the past, provide goods and services.
Yep.
And now there is silence when it relates to
chickens. So we saw them launch this big poultry initiative. And to date, we have not been told what was the spend on that initiative and what was the revenue earned. But what we are hearing for sure is that farmers indicated that it was not successful. We have seen physical evidence of the quantum of spoilage. And now further to that, we are seeing images that indicate that not only did the poultry program fail, but now we have farmers who have their businesses operating for years in the
their businesses are at
THA.
jeopardy.
Their businesses are now in jeopardy because of whatever the issues may be in terms of cold storage, whether it's poor maintenance.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And moderator, just going back to this poultry initiative, because I recall from the Joint Select Committee meetings, a number of questions was posed in relation to that initiative. And one in particular which stood out to me was, what was the input? So let us know what was the input. The chairman would have indicated what was the output so that the general public could draw some comparison in terms of the success of the program.
Exactly.
So what did you put in versus what did you get out? So the chairman was able to tell us what the yield was, but he wasn't able to tell us what the input was. He was able to tell us, I think he did indicate what the revenue was, but he couldn't tell us what the expenditure was, so that we can't gauge what was the profitability of the program. And this is what has been happening, I think, for the past 2 years in terms of information coming from the administration. You get one side of the story or one part of the picture, but you don't get the full picture to have a true appreciation of what would have transpired.
Just like the pool. So we are back on. Mr. Director?
So yeah, more questions. How long has the blast freezer been down? Are the other cold storage areas, other cold storage units, are they also not functioning to its full capacity or its full efficiency?
An undisclosed source. I know we have to protect our sources.
Of course.
An undisclosed source just sent some information saying that once the cold storage is down, the ice plant is also not working properly.
So is it that the ice plant is not working too?
Wow.
So there are a number of service areas or services currently being offered by TADCO that are not being. And I think the public should know. If that is the case, the public should be made aware.
Why wait until the protest
the situation
to then issue a release? So we are. Let me know, Mr. Director, if we are on. Are we connected? Yes. Folks, we're trying to get Ms. Carrington on the phone call now. Okay, Ms. Carrington, are you on?
Yes, I am here on the phone.
Very good. So our listeners and viewers are hearing. So folks, we've connected via a direct phone call. So Ms. Carrington, you can go ahead. We still have a little time for your story.
I'm trying to remember how far I was before it went down again. I talk about slaughtering on the 20th of April and taking this stuff in.
No, we didn't hear that. Right? We heard from the 23rd of March up to that point.
Right. That's all? Wow.
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, yes. So, as I said, the blast freezer was working at that time. But when we started stuffing, the blast freezer went down over the weekend. When we returned the Monday, the stuff was just chilled. They were not frozen. So the workers advised us that they were moving the stuff from the blast freezer into room 4, which they did in our presence. Right? When we returned 2 days later, they were properly frozen. 2 days in those other freezer, not the blast freezer. Room 4 to be exact. Right? And it has been a practice that when the blast freezer is down, that is their go-to situation where they freeze in those other freezers. Come to the present time. We purchased ice on the 19th of April for slaughter the following day, which is the 20th. Pairs of Airs normally purchase their ice in the night, bring it home, because we make early action on the Saturday morning. That Saturday, we slaughtered 600 plus chickens, about 628, 29 to be exact. We made 3 trips to TADCO that day. Around lunchtime, we took in 100 and something, 177 to be exact, whole chickens. Later in the afternoon, we took in packs, packaged in flat trays and wrapped in cling wrap, properly well labeled with pairs of airs label. Later that night, around close to closing time, because sometimes you have to really move to catch them because they have a time span when they will close off and to clean up to leave. So the last batch went in around quarter to 10. The Monday morning, we returned as we usually do to start with our customers. When we got there, the stuff were as chilled as we took them in the Saturday.
Wow.
From the Saturday to Monday around midday, they were chilled. That time, as I said, the blast freezer wasn't working, so they had them in whether be room 2 or room 4. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were expecting them to be frozen because, as we say, we've been experiencing that for some time. When the blast freezer is down, they'll put them in those rooms and they will freeze in 2 days. So they were chilled. Someone said it seemed like room 2, which they had it in, developed a leak over the weekend. So they were going to move the stuff to room 4. Mind you, we normally pack our stuff to the rows or to go into the blast freezer. When it's not the blast freezer, we pack them 2 rows high in those baskets. So if there's 4 layers in the basket, you'll have 2, 4, 6, 8 layers of stuff of the packages of the parts in those baskets. Because of the situation we experienced the last time, we decided, okay, faster freezing, we will pack them only 1 layer. 1 layer. So instead of us using about 3, 4, 5 baskets to pack our stuff, we use about 9 or 10. So that is more storage fee, because you know they move from weight to space. That is how they charge now. Not weight anymore, it's space. So if you have 10 baskets, you have to pay for the space that those 10 baskets take up. When we realized that the stuff was still chilled, spoke to one of the supervisors on the bay, and he said, go down to the main office and lodge a complaint, which we did. We spoke to the processing manager, and she gave us a form to fill out, called it a complaints form. And the complaint that was lodged was the stuff were chilled, and the other part of the complaint was that instead of using 5 baskets, now you have to use 10. Right? 4 or 5 baskets, you have to use 10. So what is the situation in that? Told her she will pass the information on to the CEO and he will get back to us. That was the Monday around lunchtime, as I said. Whole day Monday passed, not a word. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, my daughter went down to see what was the situation, and she met the same thing, which is chilled chickens. From Saturday to Thursday, the chickens were still chilled.
Wow.
I think by now, TADCO should know if you have that kind of meat only chilled for more than 3 days, the stuff becomes compromised.
Yes.
When my daughter saw what was happening that Thursday, the supervisor on the bay called the processing manager up. She came with the financial accounting manager and they saw what was happening. She demanded that she have a conversation with the CEO. He came on the bay, he saw the situation. He saw it firsthand. Right? He asked my daughter, what do you want to do about the situation? Are you going to take them out? Seriously? They are chilled. They are not frozen. We brought them there to be frozen. You understand? That is the commitment you made to us as farmers. That you're going to take our stuff, you're going to freeze. Why would we want to take them out if they are just chilled? You understand? So after that, a meeting was arranged. We saw the CEO, processing manager, and the financial accounting manager about an hour or so later in his office. And we had a discussion. His suggestion was that he will take the chickens from us and sell them in Tatco's business place down there. He's going to take them off our hands and sell them there. So he said, how can you do that? If the stuff is compromised.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Could you repeat
Hi.
your last statement? I think you broke up. I'm not sure that I heard clearly what you said.
Yes. You did. You did.
Who said that to you?
The CEO, Mr. Salazar. I can't even pronounce his first name, but Mr. Salazar. That's what he said.
To take the compromised chicken.
Yes, and sell them in Tatco's business place.
That Tatco will sell it to the public.
As pet food or for human consumption?
I guess for human consumption. Our reply to him was, not with our label. Not
right.
our label.
Okay, so he wanted you to keep your packaging.
Well, I guess so. He didn't suggest he was going to repackage them. So we want them not with our label, because if you selling compromised goods and with my label, Pairs of Ears is the one who will feel the pinch on the road. But people will say, I bought chicken with Pairs of Ears label and they were not good, they were rotten. You understand? So we said, no, we are not going to do that. His next suggestion was asking us what is our production cost. Why would you want to know my production cost? If you want to compensate me for my goods because you are liable, you can't pay me production cost, you have to pay me market value.
Yeah.
Market value. He did ask, how much do we sell for? We say we sell the whole chickens at $18 a pound. And the other packaged parts, premium parts, we sell at $23 per pound. It's a lot of stuff that goes into this thing, A lot of stuff. It's real money expended on that project. That's 600 and how much chickens, It's real money gone there, And Tatco don't want to take responsibility. He don't want to take responsibility. When we were in that same meeting that Thursday, I said to him, Mr. Salazar, this is a critical situation that is taking place here. You need to put this information up on your page so the public and the other farmers will know what is happening here at Tatco.
Wow.
They didn't. It took almost another week after that Thursday for another farmer to kill over 300 chickens and come down there with it and couldn't get it stored because they refused to take it. Because now they know for sure that this thing is not working. You understand? It's not working properly at all. Not working. So that farmer was there with his 300 chickens and couldn't get storage place to put it.
I want to ask you one question, Ms. Carrington, before we actually come off the call, because we want to also provide a couple of the videos, the clips that came out of the news so that we can hear firsthand some of the remarks made by the chairman. But this one question I want to ask you. At any point in time, were you all told that storing your produce would be done so at your own risk?
No, sir. Not at all. Not at all.
Ms. Carrington,
no one said that to us. Even when we went to lodge complaint after, nobody even said properly that this thing is not working. You understand? No one did.
That was my question, Ms. Carrington. Did you know that the freezer was not working properly before you went to store your goods?
No. As I said, we knew the blast freezer was not working, but we had been storing successfully in the other rooms and getting the stuff frozen in 2 days, which is acceptable. Right? We wrote them a letter, a serious letter, on the 29th, after the weekend passed out, and we didn't hear anything. But the Friday before that, the processing manager she took us to see the stuff. She saw them, we saw them together. And some of them were still soft. Some of them were still chilled. That was the Friday. We wrote them a letter the Monday, waiting on a response. We asked to be responded to in 2 days. We are still waiting for a response. That was Monday. We wrote that letter the 29th of April. Today's the 7th. No response. A meeting was scheduled for this morning at 10 o'clock with the CEO, processing manager, myself, and my daughter. And about 50 minutes before this scheduled meeting, we were called and told that the meeting was cancelled.
Lord.
The meeting was cancelled.
Not rescheduled.
Not rescheduled, but cancelled.
No, it was not rescheduled. That was the question my daughter asked. What day and time is it rescheduled for? Not yet. They don't know yet. It was not rescheduled. It was cancelled. It was cancelled. Understand? I don't know. But it's a lot of things. It's a lot of stuff, eh? And I'm an old lady. I really can't remember everything. But I can tell you, TADCO is liable for the losses we incurred in that place. Up to now, they are not saying anything. They're not saying. We put a suggestion to them in that letter because we have 600 plus chickens on the ground again. I said normally we will sell to raise. You understand?
Right.
Sell to buy the feed to raise the other stuff. So we are in jeopardy of losing those on the ground too because we have no feed to feed them. I opened the last bag of feed this afternoon. The suggestion was that while you are considering how you're going to do this thing, you have feed. Are you going to give me some feed as part compensation while we trash this thing out?
And what was the response?
Not a response. Nothing. I said maybe the meeting this morning would have bring us to that point. But it was cancelled. It was cancelled.
I think, again, information that would have come to hand, not confirmed, but it was shared, is that TADCO also has no feed. It's not confirmed.
What is TADCO doing?
It's not confirmed. But it was sent in as information that in addition to the issues being experienced, TADCO has no feed. They have no products to sell to the general public. And probably that's the reason why this most concerning to me is that they would have wanted to sell compromised chicken to the general public. This is very serious. Ms. Carrington, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for this very, very informative phone call and interview that you were able to do. We want to thank you for providing us with information and evidence and facts that cannot be refuted. We want to thank you for taking the time as well for ventilating your issues. And we know, additionally, you also speak and echo the sentiments of a couple of the other farmers. So we really want to say thanks, and we appreciate the effort that you would have made this evening for sharing this information with us.
And Ms. Carrington, I do hope that this matter gets resolved sooner rather than later, because based on your utterances, it is really a crucial time for your business. And I really do hope TADCO could reschedule and come to some decision, at least temporary compensation, so that your business could continue to thrive and be a going concern.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so very much for
having me. Have a wonderful evening.
and for listening. Thank you.
Folks, we coming out of that, I want us to at least get to one of the video clips I indicated to the director, because now that we've heard the truth, let's hear what is said. So let's go right to that clip, Mr. Director.
The blast freezer failing, you are saying that those who may have still opted to go with the service, knowing that they were informed that the blast freezer is down,
yes,
and that they were at their own risk in storage.
Some person would have signed to that.
Okay.
Because we do try to assist them, and that is the aim of it, really. So that during this period of the blast freezer being done, we are definitely putting some measures in place to assist some persons.
Right.
But it is recommended that they wait until we get that service up and running. However, if they do wish, it is at their
right, they're at their own risk.
Yes.
They will.
This is quite contradictory to what Ms. Carrington just said.
And that's why I asked the question.
And we both asked similar questions.
Yeah.
So Ms. Carrington indicated that in the past, although the blast freezer is down, the other freezers will work and the goods will be frozen in a matter of 2 to 3 days. Ms. Carrington also categorically denied that she was aware that...
Now we have the chairman on record saying...
And she did not sign to anything. She said she didn't know. So if she didn't know, she could not have signed to any document indicating that she is storing her goods at her own risk.
What is this? What is this? So you are blatantly lying to the public and bringing people's businesses into disrepute. I mean, I'm still at the point thinking of the CEO saying, we'll take the goods off your hand and sell it to the public. So then, had that gone through, we could have had a mass food poisoning issue.
I am hoping that what he meant was to sell as pet food and not for human consumption.
The showcase.
Because if it after was 4 or 5 days, because it was a week later that the goods were still chilled.
You know what's my question, Minority Councillor? And this is what I am very concerned about now. Has that happened before?
Well, I wonder in myself.
Has it happened before that similar situations occurred,
and
meat became compromised,
and sell it back to the public?
And they just sell it back to the public? These are the questions we have to start asking now. And where is the division of health in all this? Public health. If these freezers have been down for so long, no public health officials have come, visited the freezers, checked the chicken.
Ms. Carrington said she slaughtered 600. And then a week later, somebody else came with what, 300?
That's 900.
She now has only 1 bag of feed. So you see the critical situation that Ms. Carrington and the business
downstream
currently face because of this situation.
We want to get another clip in quickly. Mr. Director, could you run that next clip for us, please?
Again, of course, you know, many of our viewers would have seen reports going out in terms of a concern with farmers saying that a lot of their meats were spoiled because of a failure of one of the services you provide. Can you just shed more light on that for us so we can be clear?
Right. So what is happening is that the compound is an aged compound. Because of one of our system that is done is something called a blast freezer. So what happens, we allow persons will bring in their goods and meat at a warm temperature or chill temperature, and then it blast freeze and then it goes back into storage. That is the issue that we have in our cold storage units. Maintain at a -10, -12, 14 degrees in terms of keeping that storage temperature, but it must be blast freeze before going into that storage space.
Storage.
Yes, and that is the issue there because of the.
So the issue is with the blast
freezer.
Okay.
The issue that we are having is not that because of the new procurement system, we cannot just choose a recommended person. We have to go through a procurement procedure, which you have to get the quotes and get the scope of work and that type of thing, which it's going to take some time. So that was done, and the system will be up and running by Friday. Well, I'm told Thursday, but I want to say Friday, just to be safe. And definitely we're going to be continuing with our freezing services. What we do ask the public to do is that if they are involved in slaughtering animals, and we will send out a press release, letting persons know that please come in to us, let us know that you want to slaughter some animals, and that we can make some preparation for you. We do it.
So, Minority Councillor, and I brought these in because I want the general public to hear with their own ears what blatant lies sound like.
No, and it was really, really informative to hear Miss Carrington share her side of the story. And Miss Carrington came with dates. Miss Carrington came telling all of us listening and viewing from her perspective, step by step, what would have transpired. She went back to what would have occurred in the past and coming forward to the recent incidents. And clearly it is contrary to what the chairman would have said.
I am amazed. This chairman and this board of directors must be fired. This goes beyond just coming to the general public and trying to mask information. When we get to the point where blanket decisions, and again, we're saying the board of directors, but we don't know if the chairman is acting on behalf of the board in terms of consultation with the board, or if he's acting on his own behalf. We are still not sure of that. And this has gone now into public safety. This is no longer an issue of only TADCO failing the farmers, because I think it is common knowledge now that TADCO has categorically failed the farmers of Tobago. From inception, coming in, this administration, the new boards that were changed, the deal with Nuvo, they have consistently failed the farmers of Tobago. However, now we are seeing an instance of public safety coming into question. Yes, the farmers are being affected. You have now put farmers in a financial crisis.
Yeah, I am concerned about Miss Carrington.
And the other farmer, 300 head, and whoever other farmers who would have slaughtered and come down to TADCO, which is their only source of storage.
And at the end of the day, they would have had clients for their products. What is going to happen to that clientele?
Yes. Who will supply them?
It's a ripple effect, you know.
Is there going to now be a shortage of supply on the island? These are the questions that are now critical to be answered.
And 600 to me is mass production.
That's
it's not
mass
10
production.
Or 20 or 25.
So between them, that's 900 heads of chicken.
So you know that what that would also say about the cost of chickens in the near future. With this loss, with this demand and supply,
affect the price.
Price would be affected. I don't think we understand the ripple effect of our actions or inaction. Because it's not until this issue came to the public domain that you saw something official coming from TADCO. I didn't see anything before, did you?
No. Absolutely nothing.
Even while they were having conversation with Miss Carrington recommended that you put something out. Nothing was placed to the point that another farmer brought additional 300 chickens and had to be turned away.
Which he slaughtered after the issue started.
Yeah.
So had he received the information,
he could have planned better.
And again, information keeps coming in. And undisclosed sources saying that the the blast freezer has been done before and fixed in previous incarnations. The refrigerators have been done before and fixed. So why is it that they are done now and not being repaired? The question is it because of a shortage of funds?
Yeah,
because
that just occurred to
TADCO
me.
is no longer revenue generating.
So what happened to the revenue from...
Folks, as per usual, we are out of time again.
Yes, but before we
I
go,
don't know
Mr.
where this
Moderator,
time goes.
I want to one, share congratulations to a couple in Calder Hall, Mr. and Mrs. Roberts. Last week they celebrated 70 years of marriage. And that is a milestone. So, Mr. Roberts, Mrs. Roberts, we wish you all the best. When you look at the couple, they look young. Mrs. Roberts is actually 92, while Mr. Roberts is 94. And when you look at them, they look nothing short of 50 and 60. So to this young couple, I want to really congratulate you, and please share with all of us
the secret.
The secret. Yes, so congratulations on this milestone. I also want to extend last week Friday as well. We had a birthday. So our host, Mr. David, celebrated his sweet 16 last week Friday. So join us on the Minority Report as we wish Mr. David, Mr. Marlon David a happy sweet, is it 16, 18 or 21?
15.
So we wish Mr. David the very best. We hope that you had a awesome day. A day filled with joy, laughter, fun, restful. It wasn't that restful.
No, it wasn't.
But we do hope that this year brings you your heart's desire, joy, prosperity, bountiful blessings. Yes, so may God continue to bless and guide you. So we are really thankful for all that you do for the Office of the Minority, and you've been dutiful here every Tuesday. So a happy belated birthday to you, Mr. David.
Thank you very much, Beto.
And I also want to as well extend condolences to, we have had some passing, and I think very sad. We had earlier Mr. Earl Arthur. His funeral was today. We want to extend condolences to his family. We also had the Cromarties, who would have had the burial of their child, a sibling, on last Thursday it was. We also extend condolences to the Cromartie family. We also had the Bedlows of Sergeant Kane losing a sister.
Yeah.
So condolences to the Bedlows. And we also had Miss Gemma, whose funeral, a stalwart in the cultural community. So double whammy for the Bedlow family. And then we had up to earlier this week, Miss Maureen Abraham.
Yes.
And our deepest condolences go out to the Abraham community and the community of Calder Hall, the Tobago Festivals Commission, where she was employed. This was a sudden, unexpected. So our deepest condolences are extended to all the families. And for those families who we are unaware or who wasn't mentioned this afternoon, we pray for God's peace, we pray for God's comfort, and our deepest sympathies during your time of bereavement. May the souls of your dearly departed rest in peace.
Amen. So folks, we would like to thank you for being with us this evening. We want to thank especially Miss Carrington, not just for giving the information, but being bold enough to come forward in a time where so much fear is being instilled. But as we always say, once the voices of the minority stand firm against every storm, we know that over time, those voices will become more than one and more than two, and will continue to grow and swell. So we really want to thank Ms. Carrington. As echoed by the minority councillor, we do in fact not just hope that it works out, but we are calling on the Secretary of Agriculture and the Chief Secretary to intervene in this matter with immediate effect, urgently, not just for the sake of having the machinery and the equipment fixed, but for having the farmers compensated so that they can continue to ply their trade, so that they can continue to supply Tobago with their produce, homegrown. We know Ms. Carrington, we saw in the interview Mr. Potts, Mr. and Mrs. Potts as well, Mr. Kun, and every other farmer that have been severely affected, who are now in a position where they are in a financial bind, and their produce is no longer good, and they have not earned that dollar on it. So we're asking this Chief Secretary and the Secretary of Agriculture to please hear the plights of these individuals and intervene and put a stop to what we know is going to be the trickle-down effect. Yeah? So folks, we thank you for staying tuned with us. We thank you for logging on as you do every single week faithfully. Continue to spread the message that is delivered on the Minority Report. Continue to share the link even after the show ends so that we can get more persons involved in having factual information and being a part of the process that brings clarity of governance. So folks, we want to say good night. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, on the next episode of the Minority Report. I'm Marlon David, your host, saying good evening and God bless.